People knew the 2020 NFL Draft was absolutely loaded with insane NFL receiver talent. There were 34 wide receivers taken in this draft class. Many of these guys you have heard of, some for good reasons, others for not so good reasons. This class is star-studded at the top with one of the best wide receivers in the NFL that may have a case to be the GOAT one day, and plenty of depth pieces to round out this great draft class. Today in this video, I'm going to go over the top 8 wide receivers selected in this draft, and also touch on some other guys that were drafted later who have made impacts. With the 12th overall pick in the draft, the Las Vegas Raiders selected Henry Ruggs out of Alabama. There was a ton of controversy and speculation to who would be named the top receiver in this draft, but ultimately, the Raiders fell in love with Henry Ruggs' game-changing speed. Ruggs was pretty underwhelming his rookie year with the Raiders as he went for 26 receptions for 452 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Then, after playing in 7 games his second season, the worst-case scenario happened. Ruggs was involved in a fatal DUI crash that resulted in killing a woman and her dog. This is such a sad, tragic story, and who knows what Henry Ruggs could have been. With the 15th overall pick, the Denver Broncos selected another Bama receiver named Jeudy. Jeudy was known as a speedster with insane route running ability. Many analysts had him ranked as the top wide receiver in this draft. Jeudy's career has been pretty meh to this point. He looked good his rookie year after putting up 856 yards. Last year, he also showed us some promise, while missing a few games, but he still put up almost 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. But so far this year, he is looking like a complete bust. He was supposed to be the biggest benefactor with Sean Payton coming into town, but it has been far from that. Jeudy recently also made headlines in not a very good way, beefing with Steve Smith, who called him a mid-wide receiver. It's safe to say that Jeudy is probably the definition of mid and is now on the trade block and will probably be shipped out of Denver soon. Now let's touch on one of the hits of this class. With the 17th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys selected CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was known as a good route runner in OU while also having insane after-the-catch ability. His game has translated to the NFL very well. CeeDee Lamb started off his career behind Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup in Dallas, but still managed to put up almost 1,000 yards his rookie year. Going into the 2021 season, the Cowboys shift off Amari Cooper to let CeeDee Lamb take over as the wide receiver 1. His first year as the wide receiver 1, he put up 1,100 yards to go along with 6 TDs. Many wanted more from Lamb after this season, and we definitely got that last year. He finished the year with 1,359 receiving yards to go along with 9 TDs and established himself as one of the game's best young wide receivers. Lamb is off to another good start in 2023, but ultimately, in my opinion, Mike McCarthy and Dak are limiting his overall potential. With the 21st pick, the Philadelphia Eagles selected Jalen Reagor out of TCU. Reagor was another speedster that Philly fell in love with and bet more on his potential upside than what he was actually producing in college. It's safe to say that Reagor's career with the Eagles was a swing and a miss. He started 25 games in his 2-year stint with Philly and didn't even top 700 total yards. After the 2021 season, he was traded to the Minnesota Vikings for a 7th-round pick and did a whole lot of nothing while playing in Minnesota. Recently, he was signed to the Patriots' active roster. Can you imagine if Philadelphia had taken this next wide receiver instead of Jalen Reagor? Thank God for the league they didn't, though, because this next guy is all-time. With the 22nd overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings selected Justin Jefferson. Seen as the secondary option for Joe Burrow at LSU, Jefferson was often overshadowed by teammate Jamar Chase. Although he was still an elite wide receiver prospect, many felt he was drafted at the appropriate spot by the Vikings with the 22nd pick. Safe to say, they were wrong. Jefferson has been one of the best wide receivers in the NFL since he was drafted and is on pace to be one of the best wide receivers of all time. So far in his short career, he has accumulated a ton of awards, including 3 Pro Bowls, NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2022, led the NFL in receptions in 2022, and led the NFL in receiving yards in 2022. The sky is the limit for Jettas, and he is already looked at as a generational talent at the wide receiver position and the best in this class. There's no amount of words or descriptions that could really describe how great he has been so far. With the 25th overall pick, the San Francisco 49ers selected Brandon Aiyuk. Aiyuk was seen as an ascending wide receiver prospect who showed a ton of improvement since coming from the JUCO ranks, possessed size, speed, and had the looks of a natural pass catcher. Aiyuk has had a solid and somewhat underrated career to this point. He often at times has been overshadowed by others in San Fran, including Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. He had a solid rookie year, but didn't take a jump going into year 2 like most anticipated. But year 3, he broke out, recording over 1,000 yards, and now in year 4, he's having his best season to date with over 500 yards and is on pace to break his current record of 1,015 yards. With the 33rd overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals selected T. Higgins. T. Higgins was a big body wide receiver who had a ton of college success while playing with Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. He was known for his size and above-the-rim talent, and NFL scout Lance Zierlein compared him to A.J. Green. T is another wide receiver on this list that has often been overshadowed by the great Jamar Chase, but there's no doubt that he has been a great NFL player so far to this point. Put up 908 yards, 6 touchdowns his rookie year, and went on to record over 1,000 yards in his second and third seasons. Now in year 4, he has battled injuries this year and some inconsistent play, but when healthy, there is no doubt that he is one of the best wide receiver 2s in the entire league and would be a 1 for a lot of teams. With the 34th overall pick, the Indianapolis Colts selected Michael Pittman Jr., a possession receiver that had top-notch ball skills and bullied opposing cornerbacks. Pittman is often overlooked in this stacked wide receiver class, but has been a quality receiver so far in the league. He had a quiet rookie year, only gaining 508 yards, although he was limited to only 8 games. Year 2, though, he broke out, recording 1,082 yards and 6 TDs. Last year, he caught his career-high 99 passes and gained 925 yards through the air. And now in year 4, he is having his best season to date. And one can argue that if he had better QB play throughout his entire career, he would be talked about in a higher tier than most currently have him listed. Some other names to mention in this wide receiver class, first one being Chase Claypool. Claypool started off his career great with the Steelers, but recently has been pretty mid. The Bears gave up a second-round pick for him, didn't work out very well, and now he's currently playing on the Dolphins. The Ravens got Devin Duvernay later in this draft, who has been a special teams ace for them. Gabe Davis, to pair with Stephon Diggs, has been great for the Buffalo Bills. Not a wide receiver 1, but a decent wide receiver 2 that has massive upside every given week. Darnell Mooney, KJ Osborne, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Isaiah Hodgins, and Juwan Jennings are just some other guys to name that have been solid receivers and put up decent production out of this entire class. This wide receiver class has a lot of the best wide receivers in today's game. Beyond the elite talent that I've mentioned, there's a ton of current productive guys littered throughout this class. The league should feel blessed to have the talent from this draft class. With more and more of these elite athletes opting out of the running back position to choose wide receiver, the NFL should have no shortage of talent at the wide receiver position for years to come. Thank you for watching this video, guys. And please, if you have any comments, likes, or want to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you all again, and I will be dropping much more of these videos soon, so stay tuned. Thanks. Bye.